Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be a new series called the Support Chronicles. Now, you probably know by now that I support main, and I really like support. It's my favorite role just because support can impact the game just about as much as any other role, but not a lot of people believe that. And right now, even though I said it before in an earlier video how much I hated Bard, that was meant towards other people. I hate how other people play Bard. How I play Bard is, I think he's very different compared to every other support. I think he's even more situational than Thresh and even Blitzcrank, and he does not work with about half of the support, half the AD carries. I don't think he works with, but early on he can easily help the jungle by laying down those little shrines, and also help your AD carry by laying early shrines near your tower. I'm not going to mention it that much, but we are playing against the support Shen, and not a lot of people play him either. I think it's good. I also have the legacy skin for that, so I might do a support Shen soon. But I'm starting with Bard today because I think that talking about Bard and support all together is sort of interchangeable, because the way Bard supports is you have to look at it differently. You have to look at the game in a much different way, because Bard does not put out that much damage, especially the way that you should build him, but he can easily set up kills for anyone else if you hit the right skills or if you do the right things. Early in this game, we get camped by Zac, but we had to blow a lot of our summoners just to get away from that. And right here, I tell Jinx to get a shrine, but she just Ezreal's able to snipe her, so I couldn't really step in front of it. I thought he was just going to miss anyway, but later on, I'll sort of talk about how Bard can impact the game more than a lot of people have tried to. A lot of people just use his ult for whatever. A lot of people miss the Q, and the Q is the most important thing that you need to hit with. And even more important than that, everyone thinks that Bard is just supposed to roam around the map. He is not. He is not supposed to just roam wherever he wants. He's supposed to roam when it's the right time. When you're in lane and when it's still a 2v2 in lane, I don't think you should roam, because that will just give them a chance to kill your AD carry. That gives them a chance to both jump on them and most likely get a kill, because your support's not there. He's halfway near mid lane getting some chimes, and that's really it. But the most I've seen Bards do is just roam almost the entire game. I strongly, even highly recommend not doing that, because it's not smart. Here, I sort of take the focus of the Zac jump so that he doesn't jump on the Jinx, and that gets Jinx a triple kill. Now, right there, that was we won lane right there. At this point, you can roam. At this point, you can go wherever you want because we just won lane. But if you're losing lane, do not roam. As any support, you do not want to roam if you're losing lane. If you are winning the lane, go ahead. If your AD carry has a triple kill, go right ahead. Double kill even. You need to help the other lanes win theirs, because if you win that well, then kudos to you. You can roam, you can do whatever you want, as long as your AD carry is not stupid and overextends all the time. If they start doing that, then I recommend going back to the lane. But I'm not talking much about this game, more or less just trying to talk about supporting in general. You'll see that the Nasus loses to Garen pretty hard, but it's just a Garen. The Fizz carries his lane and top lane pretty much, while we win bot lane. What next I want to say about Bard? I'll talk about what you should build with Bard. There is a... When you look up a Bard guide, the first one I looked at was the one under a Platinum player. That one is very, very good. I recommend... Oh, right here. I use my ult. I thought Jinx was going to get away. She goes back in to fight the Ezreal. That was very dumb. I ulted all 4 of us so Jinx can get away, and she just goes back in. But that is a good way to use your ult. Definitely use it defensively like that. Just do not get your AD carry caught in it as well, because then it was just stalling the inevitable. But what you want to build is... Oh, right here, there is something I will say about Bard. I think I think where you need to click on your magical journey is the best name for an ability as well. I think the hitbox for it should be a bit bigger. It's very precise on where you need to click on it. Even if you're clicking on the sides of it, you need to click in the middle of it. But I start building Rod of Ages first. I buy wards, but I do not get Sightstone first. You can if you really want to, but Rod of Ages on Bard is extremely useful for getting health and the mana, because Bard early on is very mana hungry, but later on when you have a finished Rod of Ages, you don't have to worry about mana at all. And I mean at all, because you're not using your abilities as much as other supports will be doing. Like Sona, if you ever wanted to buy Rod of Ages on Sona, I don't suggest it, but if you do, that might solve her mana problems, even though she has an extremely bad mana problem later on. Or early on, I should say. Right here, I couldn't move because of the minions. I couldn't get out of there. And right now, the Garen teleports bottom. And we lose our tower for it. So you could say our one lane went back to a lost lane. But now that pretty much means we have to roam around the map and give pressure elsewhere. Because bot lane, we can't really stay the whole time. But to talk a little bit about what abilities you should level up first, I say get your healing shrines maxed, because they don't give that much health back in the earlier levels, and by maxing Q, you're losing your main focus as Bard is to support the healing. And if you definitely don't want to level the magical journey first, that should be a given for anybody really. Right here, I got an ult on the Shen, which pretty much means he cannot help his AD carry at all. He does get the kill on Jinx, and he gets away, because again, it is a Shen. He built Ninja Tabby and the Face of the Mountain first, so... right here, I knew Zac was there. I saw him, and I sort of bait him to jump forward so we can do something. And Fizz gets the... I get the Shen, and Fizz dives to get the Zac. So Shen thought he was baiting, but really it was me waiting around for Zac and Fizz to jump in. Also, you should get chimes whenever you can. If your AD carry is not in lane, doing something else, or you're just roaming, get your shines, obviously. Or chimes, whatever, I call them shines sometimes. The Meeps or Mooglets, whatever you want to call them, your Moogles, they are very powerful. I think they are underrated to people who play Bard, or at least other support mains. I will say, like I said in my other video, I'm not that fond of Bard when other people play him. I have a great time playing him. He is the most fun and probably the trolliest support you can play, but I don't know how else to describe him really. He's very... You have to know what you're doing. Oh, we really fail here. The Jinx wanted to finish the dragon, but she didn't notice that Shaco was pretty much dead from the Garen, so he couldn't smite it. So they get that dragon. So they tied us with dragon, but we are still about 2,000 gold ahead, even though they have 2 towers on us. You'll notice the Fizz is just snowballing out of control. The Garen might have won top lane, but it doesn't really matter because a Fizz snowballs a lot harder than a Garen can. I don't know what this Nasus was really thinking about building Hydras first. You can do it, I guess, but I'm not going to commentate on that. I'm not that good of a top laner. I don't really get to play Nasus that much just because everyone loves top. Right there, I ult the Azir because I didn't want him to ult down the lane. I thought we could at least get some kind of kill, but we sort of just stick around here waiting for one of them to sort of make a mistake. But yeah, I don't know why they went back in. That there was nothing me and Fizz could really do about that. The Jinx just decides to face plant the shed and get taunted, and the Jago's like, "Oh, I can help, I'll get you out of there." No, not really. You really can't as an assassin. So they start to focus bot lane pretty hard. They really want the inhibitor. Right here, I don't think we really get anything done because they all sort of just leave while Nasus pushes top. And another thing I should really talk about is warding. Some supports feel that the rest of their team should also ward with you, and I do agree with that. The rest of the team should ward as well, but at least if you're in lower elos, do not count on everyone else to ward as well as you. Oh, right there, I healed the Fizz just as Garen uses his ult, so it doesn't kill him. So that's also another way to counter Garen, heal as he's doing his ult. But you should definitely ward anytime you can, even though other people can also buy wards. It's not worth it to fight other people about it. Right there, you saw my ult get the Zac and the Shen, so Zac could not jump right into the team and ult. He had his ult and he couldn't do it because of my ult, which pretty much stops their main engage. That is one thing you want to work on is Bard. Use his ult to focus the engagers. If they are in a Zanya's state and all of their abilities are used to engage, then while they're sitting there useless, your entire team can just jump on anyone who is not in quote-unquote Zanya's. I don't know how else to describe it. That's basically the only way I can. You also don't want to underestimate Bard's Q range. It is very long. It is much longer than I thought it was. I don't remember if they increased it at all, but I felt since the last time I played Bard, it was a lot smaller at least. Right here, I try to help the Fizz. I thought he was going to keep going. He was out of mana. He kind of said that after we died, and my ult was wasted. But either way, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be calling this the Support Chronicles or even just do another series on Bard, just because he's that fun to play, at least in my eyes. I will say that if you want to get better at Bard, you just want to use your ult effectively, use all of your abilities effectively in that case, because that's the main problem I see with Bards. They just don't know how to use their ult. They don't know when to stun or who to stun, and they underestimate how long their Q will go. You'll see that I build a random in Omen first, and that's because I'm usually up front. Right here, I thought this was a good engage. We collapsed on the Zac. I also ulted the Ez and the Zac, but right here, no one is peeling for the Jinx, including me, so that is kind of my bad. And since they all left to go help the Jinx, they sort of just let them pile into the jungle again, and the Azir gets the triple kill. I will say, since Fizz was dominating him, that I was not worried about him getting any kills for that matter, but the one other thing about Bard is he is not good at peeling. Not very good, I should say. His healing helps, his Q can stun, but that's whatever when compared to an Alistar or a Blitzcrank or whatever when you want a peeling support. Again, this is just a normals game, by the way. I probably wouldn't have picked a Bard into a Shen support or an Azir just because you need to peel for your AD carry. And Jinx is somewhat immobile. She does have ways, obviously her chompers can stun and her zap, but she is still kind of immobile. If you're with a Lucian or if you're with a Graves, I would say that'd be a bit better, because at least in that case, you are not having to peel entirely on yourself, or by yourself at least. There is one thing you can do as Bard that you've probably seen in videos before. You can use your magical journey to sort of scare the enemy team, because when you use it, you never know who's on the other side of it. And if they're all lumped together and you use a magical journey right into their entire team and your team's with you, you're going to get the jump on all of them. They're not going to be able to use all of their abilities on your entire team while they're coming through that tunnel. And it also can get you assists now. It can also... right there, I also ult. I don't think I ulted the dragon. I think I actually ulted their team. But that sort of stalls them out. The Nasus uses his ultimate pretty late. I'm actually going to rewind there. I will say something about Nasus. He was very low and he used it to try to stall his death. You should really use it at the start of the fight, or at least if you're down to half health, because just because it gives you a few hundred more health, it doesn't mean it's going to save you entirely. I was pretty lucky that the Jinx, I don't think she did bad. She really knew what to do with a Bard. And that's what your AD carry should also know. If they don't like Bard, you're not gonna have a good time, because if someone doesn't like Bard, it means they are already sort of biased against him. I'm kind of one of those people. I don't like playing with another Bard if I ever AD carry, but if I'm playing Bard, I wouldn't want people to say that to me, so it's sort of a double-edged sword. I feel bad for him. I feel bad that for such a fun kit, for such a unique champion, I guess you can say, a lot of people don't give him enough credit, at least with the build I build. You'll notice a while ago that I sold the Spell Thief's Edge. That's because Bard doesn't really need it. I'm taking 3 gold Quints, and that sort of, I guess that can replace the Spell Thieves, but there are a lot of other items much more useful on him. And right here, another fight breaks out. The Zac goes in. There's nothing they can really do. I think we stick around a little too long. The Fizz gets jumped on, but he starts to destroy their team. Me and Jinx were getting jumped on, but Jinx has so much lifesteal right now. She survives easily. I'm not sure when I did it. I think I screwed up my ult a little while ago. I don't think, or I might have not done it yet. I used my ult like right here. I thought my mouse sort of just flicked backwards towards me, and I couldn't get my ult off in the right place. But there's not much else I can say about Bard, just besides just give him a chance, I guess. Besides that, this game sort of just ends pretty abruptly after a team fight. I'll speed up to it, but right after Dragon, a team fight should start. I think that's the final one. There's also one thing I will say. Your magical journey, do not use it just because. You've seen me do it a few times to just go over a tiny wall, which I could have just walked over. But since I already have Frozen Heart and a bunch of cooldown reduction, I wasn't really worried about it. But it could save you. If you use it in the wrong way, if you use it in the wrong spot, you could easily just lead to your death. And no one really wants that just because you want to hop around a 1-inch wall. This is what I'm talking about with Nasus's build. Because he built that Hydras, I do not think it stacks with his Q. I don't know that for certain. I don't know if you Q a minion and it also kills a few others with the Hydra's AoE. I don't know if you get those as well. If you do, then that's my bad. But I think it is just a waste to have that item on Nasus when it screws up your farming. Right here, I'm sort of trying to engage on them. I want them to attack. I want them to come near us. The kind of the dumb thing here, the Shaco and the Jinx were doing Baron while we were just sitting mid. I don't think they knew about it until Garen comes over, but it's a pretty fed Garen. He just kills them both, and Nasus leaves me. Nasus jumps up top when I just used my ult for no reason. It was pretty pointless for me to use it, but the Nasus sort of just leaves because he thinks he could have saved them, I guess. We shouldn't have been staying with Azir's tower up, but I don't think that was a pretty good Baron call because basically no one has Baron on them anymore now. I think Fizz gets away, so only the Fizz and Nasus have it on him, even though they're the... I don't know if I would count Nasus over Jinx, but okay. So now we're in the final team fight. We're going to slow down to 1%. Or 1 times, rather. And we're just going to go through it step by step. I want you to see how the fight was done. Because it was initiated by me, and it was... I don't know if it was won by me. But right here, unfortunately, my ult gets to Fizz in it. But it does get to Zac. He... sort of panics. He doesn't have his ult. He doesn't have anything. Right here, I flash forward and kill the Ez with my Q, because with Ez out of the equation, he can't just keep poking us down. I keep running. I keep running forward because I know that we can win any team fight now, even though Nasus stayed behind to farm. But either way, a team fight right there was easily won because my ult got the main initiator, the main tank. Without him, they had really no peel left, except with the Shen, but because he fell pretty behind early, he couldn't get enough items, or he didn't get enough late game items to really make it count. If I had my ult here, I could have ulted the tower to make this fight a little bit easier, but we won that team fight. Jinx gets a triple kill. And that was GG right there. With Nasus here, we just destroyed the enemy turret. And that's GG. So, it's kind of difficult to talk about Bard. It's kind of difficult to tell you what exactly you should be doing with him, because some of it's my opinion, obviously. Some of you will disagree. Some of you will probably just say Bard sucks, and I can agree with you on a level. I wish he did have another damaging ability. At least maybe if his Q or no his healing, if someone else stepped over it, it could have slowed them, or else it could have been like a mini mine, some kind of trap of some sort. But he could be changed in the future. Obviously, not anytime soon, but he could keep getting buffed. Maybe his Q damage will be buffed a little bit more. Maybe his ult will be on a smaller cooldown than it is in the early stages. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys will be satisfied with the Monday through Friday scheduling. I didn't really like 7 days a week because I'm still in college. I still have a lot to do. So for right now, it's going to be 5 days a week. I hope you guys enjoy.